So Netflix has got this horror series that began with The Haunting of Hill House and was followed by The Haunting of Bly Manor. And so what to follow that up with? What are they going to haunt next? Well, they didn't really haunt much at all. Well, there is a haunting somewhat in it, but no, they went into an entirely different genre with Midnight Mass. So I'd already taped a review on this and I spoiled everything. I think I'm just going to leave that out of there. So I'm just going to tell you this is not a ghost story. It is a horror story. But it involves this small little isolated island community that is Catholic for the most part, and they kind of come together in this church with this priest, and their normal priest has been gone a while, and then this replacement priest shows up and says, I'm only temporary, but there's something very mysterious about him. Suddenly miracles begin to happen, and it all seems great and wonderful, and all kind of weird things start occurring on the island. And well, it's a horror story, so it's not going to end well. There is a guilt-ridden character. Well, there's several guilt-ridden characters, but one in particular who is haunted by what he did in that, and it's very similar to a haunting device they used in the previous series of Bly Manor, where the girl was haunted by her dead fiancé and that sort of thing. But that's about it as far as hauntings go. This is, like I said, it's not a ghost story. And there's a few things here that I mean, the power of these shows is the performances are really good. They manage to do that. They do capture mood and atmospherics excellently well, and there's a lot of certain tropes that are somewhat repetitive. Certainly the haunting of this character in this series is this, like I said, it was similar to the Bly Manor, but those elements are actually very good, and it actually plays in, and it lends credibility and guides you to understand why the characters go where they go and that sort of thing. So it's all very solid in that aspect. There are some flaws here. The priest is the main focus of this a lot because he's the mystery man and I know it's not a flaw in how he reveals the whole secret because I don't know how else he would do it. But he just basically, when it comes about, he just explains what happened, and then it's off to the races about how this is all going to turn out. But there's another thing involving him that seems kind of just, there's nothing to indicate it early on with these characters on there, and suddenly there's this whole backstory with them that's just tacked on in the final episode. I didn't really get it. I mean, maybe it was there and I missed it, and there's little hints about this relationship and all that, but I really didn't. I just don't see it that it was there. So that's a bit of a problem. So other than that, it's pretty solid. And of the three series that they've had, I still think Hill House was the best of the batch. I'm thinking Midnight Mass is right behind it. I think it's actually the second best. Bly Manor, again, it has all the power and good stuff that the other shows have. It's just it kind of fizzles. It's still one of the things that I come to the conclusion about a lot of these different horror films and TV shows that I've been reviewing is that they seem to always conclude that sadness is the ultimate horror, and then the loss and being without, and certainly Bly Manor was that, and the poor lovers, and that they were doomed to the ending for no fault of their own, really. Well, I guess because the woman wanted to save the kids, and so she sacrifices herself with that. But so there is that, and that's probably its strongest point with that one. It just didn't quite have the strength and power that Hill House did, and Hill House has that great gut-punching moment in the middle of the season. Here, with Midnight Mass, I suppose the revelation of what this is really about, I guess was supposed to be shocking or something like that, but not quite like Hill House did. But still, it plays into it. There's a sort of clever, if you will, way that they explain why he would continue to go through with this. I don't know about the others. Some of that's a bit of a stretch that they would go this far with what unfolds in Midnight Mass. Certainly the villain in this story, this woman who is just absolutely rotten. But don't worry, she gets what she's got coming to her. Everybody else are just, well, okay, there is yet another villain, a monstrous one, but nevertheless, the rest of the people of the town and stuff are just, they're broken. They're all broken for one reason or another. They're guilt-ridden. A lot of this, sort of the main character, certainly he is, but a lot of it is just what you can relate to, just regrets. I should have done this, coulda, shoulda, woulda, and that sort of thing. And they do put that on the priest eventually. Of course, his big regret is that he screws up here, but at the end, like I said, this backstory they suddenly slap onto him and these other characters. It's a little late. It should have been weaved in here and there and all that, but it's done very well, and maybe in some of it because there's a lot of miracles start happening, and they have people playing older than they are, because a slight spoiler, they start to de-age, they start getting younger again. This is part of the miracles that you're experiencing. And some of it they do pretty good because it's rather slow and subtle, and others, well, but I mean, what else would it be? I mean, suddenly someone starts looking like, they're in their, I don't know, 70s and 80s, and suddenly within a week they look like they're 30. And that is going to look weird. So, but all in all, it's a good run, despite its flaws. And it's the second best of this batch, and I hope they do more. And it's cool that they go to another genre of horror. American Horror Story did a similar thing where they would do different approaches and genres. And sometimes it was ghosts, sometimes it was demons, sometimes it was witches, and even a mad scientist showed up and what, all that type of stuff. It's a good idea. It's just that show dropped in quality very quickly. Got really stupid, and then got to the point that it pissed me off, so I bailed. It's still going. I think they're gonna, they're gonna do a 10th season or something like that. So if it's gotten better, you can let me know in the comments below. Time permitting, maybe I could jump back in. I don't know. I'm rather dubious about that. But this one, I think already, even though the first couple of seasons of American Horror Story I liked, this group here with the Haunting and now Midnight Mass, I think is infinitely superior to it. It's slow going, and that kind of is a strength in Midnight Mass, about how subtle it is about its growing to what the true menace is in this story. And so for some people it might be, I'm getting bored, I'm leaving. Well, then I guess it just couldn't grab you. But for me, I thought that was probably part of the power that it had. And the characters and the performances here are very strong, and so I thought that it should be able to draw you in. So it's a recommend. I do think it's a great series, and hopefully they can do another season. It'd be interesting to see where else they go. I don't think I'd want to see them do another one exactly like this one, as far as what the element of horror this is, what specific genre within the genre it is, without spoiling it. So it'd be interesting if they did go to something else, beyond hauntings and this particular genre. So anyway, there you go, Midnight Mass.